Here are 10 easy ways to instantly speak better Spanish. Number one is to focus on the vowel sounds. So many times I see people who have really good levels of Spanish, but they don't pronounce the vowels well. And ultimately, what ends up happening is you go to have a conversation with someone and they reply to you in English. The most common reason that people do this is not because you don't have a good level per se, it's typically because they hear your accent. Entonces, si tú quieres tener un acento increíble en español, simplemente tienes que enfocarte en las vocales. Por ejemplo, la palabra chocolate. In English, we would say chocolate, but when I just focus on pronouncing the vowels correctly, this word now sounds like chocolate. Chocolate. So the vowels in Spanish are as follows: A, E, I, O, U. Now, as English speakers, we tend to elongate these sounds. We say oh, ooh. In Spanish, they're a bit more abrupt. A, E, I, O, U. A lot of students struggle with the O sound. I tell them it's kind of like a chimpanzee, okay? O, O, O. You make the sound of an O with your mouth, and it's quick, it's abrupt, right? O, 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 okay? A, E, I, O, U, all right? Chocolate. All right, how about this one? Internet. Internet, okay? The reason that my accent sounds much better now is simply because I am focusing on the vowel sounds. A very quick and easy way for you to speak better Spanish and to have that perfect pronunciation is to simply focus on the vowel sounds. Another pro tip for you is to just speak slower. I noticed that students tend to try to speak really fast, but when you're thinking about all the different verb conjugations and vocabulary, often the accent goes out the window. So if you want to improve your Spanish, slow down and focus on the vowel sounds. Number two is to focus on words like, letters like B, V, and Z, okay? Now, B in Spanish is B and V is V. The reason that it's B and V is because B and V make the same sound in Spanish. Now, sometimes the V does kind of sound like a V in English, but 95 to 97% of the time, when you see V in Spanish, it is going to make a soft B sound, okay? So for example, in the word vivir, it is not vivir. No, it is vivir, okay? Vivir, all right? Now, with the Z, it is not a Z sound. It is a sound, just like a snake, okay? So it's not zapatos, it's zapatos, okay? In Spain, they would say zapatos, right? That TH sound. But in Latin America, we're going to say zapatos, okay? Now, a quick side note about B and V. I was in the state of Chiapas in Mexico, and I saw a sign that said vestidores, which typically means dressing rooms or changing rooms. But they had written it with a B when it should have been written with a V. That just goes to show that even native Spanish speakers will flip B and V. I've also seen it with the word adobo. It should be written with a B, but I saw it written with a V. All right. So B and V make the same sound, that soft B. Z makes an S sound. All right. Those are three quick pronunciation hacks that will instantly make your Spanish sound much better. Next is to learn the informal future, which is simply ir plus a plus infinitive. Now, a lot of students get overwhelmed by all the different verb conjugations in Spanish, but the really cool thing is you can learn the informal future very quickly and very easily and instantly be able to speak in the future tense. That's the nice thing about Spanish. We just follow formulas, or like my friend Q Paul says, patterns. We just look at patterns and then we follow those patterns. So in this example, ir plus a plus infinitive, right? When we conjugate the verb ir, we can say voy, for example, I go, a meaning to, and then whatever infinitive verb we want. So, for example, voy a comer. I am going to eat. Now, you might see voy and think, well, doesn't voy mean I go? Well, yes, it does mean I go, but remember that verbs in the present tense can also sometimes take on the translation of ing verbs in English. if they're going to happen soon or in the near future. So in this case, voy a comer. The idea is I am going to eat soon. Voy a comer. Unless I were to add extra context. Voy a comer con mi novia mañana. For example, I'm going to eat with my girlfriend tomorrow. Okay? Vas a bailar. You are going to dance. Okay? You could also translate this as you go to dance, but most often when you see something like voy a, vas a, vamos a, it's going to mean I go, I am going, you are going, we are going, so on and so forth. Also, if you're interested in learning more Spanish than me, click the link in the video description to join my Fluent Spanish Speaker Academy. Our goal is to help you have a 10-minute conversation in Spanish in 90 days without feeling nervous. Click the link in the description to check it out. Number 4 is to listen while doing things. One of the easiest ways that you can upgrade your Spanish very quickly is by simply listening to Spanish while you do things. So while you're cooking, while you're driving, while you're walking. Think about all the things that you currently do while listening to things in English. Okay, so maybe on your commute to work, you're listening to the radio, you're listening to a podcast in English. See if you can switch that to Spanish. Think about how maybe when you get home from work and you start to consume media in English, right? You watch Netflix, you watch YouTube, you listen to your favorite songs. Try to do that in Spanish. It's a very quick and easy way that you can improve your level. I didn't start doing this until I had been learning Spanish for about 3 years. And looking back, that was a big mistake. I should have been doing that from day one because when I started to listen to Spanish more often, I started to learn the vocabulary and my accent started to improve a lot. Okay, so that's really important. Number 5 is to put your phone in Spanish. This is a very easy, simple thing you can do to instantly start learning new Spanish. I'll also say, if you're kind of hesitant about this because you think you're not going to understand anything that's going on your phone, you can change certain apps into English so you don't have to worry about making a mistake in your banking app, for example. So if you're struggling with a very important app and you can't understand what's going on, you can always just change that individual app into English. Okay? But put your phone in Spanish is a great way to learn new vocabulary. Things like mandar, enviar, guardar, archivo, so on and so forth. Okay? Number 6, learn muletillas. Muletillas are simply filler words in Spanish. So words like este, meaning So when you're speaking Spanish, don't say all right? When I hear someone say it's a dead giveaway that they are not a native Spanish speaker or they didn't grow up in a Spanish-speaking country because Spanish speakers from countries like Mexico, Colombia, Argentina, they're not going to say when they're speaking. The closest thing they're going to say might be M with an E instead of a U. But if I hear someone say it's a dead giveaway that even if they speak Spanish fluently, that they grew up probably in the US, okay? So don't say say something like este or M, meaning You could also say something like pues, meaning well. Pues, no sé, well, I don't know. You could also say something like o sea, meaning rather or in other words. So for example, o sea, me cae bien, pero no es mi amigo. Or in other words, rather, he's my friend, or excuse me, I like him, he's nice, but he's not really my friend. Me cae bien, pero no es mi amigo. Okay? Or something like bueno, which can also mean well. It can also be something that you can say when you're agreeing with something. So for example, bueno, no sé, well, I don't know. Or if I say, hey, vamos al parque? Bueno. But okay, bueno. That sounds good. Okay. Number 7, learn some survival phrases. If you want to be able to speak Spanish better right away, just learn some basic survival phrases. Things like, ¿Dónde está el baño? ¿Cuánto cuesta? La cuenta, por favor. Basic survival phrases that you can use out in the Spanish-speaking world. Now, just by memorizing phrases does not mean that you're going to become this incredible fluent Spanish speaker. You still need to learn the grammar and new vocabulary and how the language actually works. However, this is a really quick solution, kind of like a band-aid, to be able to have basic conversations with people in Spanish. Is to simply learn basic survival phrases. ¿Dónde está el baño? ¿Cuánto cuesta? ¿Dónde está? Mucho gusto, so on and so forth. Next is to learn the 100 most common words. You can ask ChatGPT for a list of 100 most common words. Go on Google, inside my Fluent Spanish Speaker Academy. Just look up 100 most common words in Spanish. Because the reality is, there are lots and lots of words in the Spanish language, but native speakers only use around 2,000 to 3,000 words in daily conversations. It sounds like a lot, but if you can learn the 100 or 1,000 most common words in Spanish, well, then you'll be on the path to having 80% of the conversations you want to have by learning 20% of the most important vocabulary. And the same thing goes for verbs. Okay? Learn the 100 most common verbs. Verbs like ir, ser, estar, hacer, comer, so on and so forth. Once again, you can ask ChatGPT, you can Google this, you can get the list inside my Fluent Spanish Speaker Academy. You get the idea, okay? If you just learn that the most important 20%, then you can have 80% of the conversations that you want to have. And finally, find some amigos. Find some Spanish-speaking friends. A big reason that I was able to learn Spanish more quickly than most people is because I had, excuse me, woo, is because I had Spanish-speaking friends. I'm from Southern California. My best friend Luis helped me a lot with my Spanish. I would talk to him every day. I would bug the heck out of him, saying, hey, speak to me. What's this? What's that? So on and so forth. If you don't have Spanish-speaking friends, you can go online, join a free platform like Tandem or Hello Talk. You can go find a paid teacher online on a platform like italki or Lengua. You can find Spanish-speaking friends. Once again, shameless self-promotion inside my Fluent Spanish Speaker Academy. But friends are a great free way to improve your Spanish. Bueno, muchas gracias por ver este video. Espero que hayas aprendido algo nuevo. Si tú quieres aprender español conmigo, puedes haciendo clic en el link de la descripción para unirte a la academia. Muchas gracias y espero que tengas buen día. Hasta luego.